Occupational therapists help people to do the things they need and want to be able to do.
When working with children, this includes activities involved with self-care, like dressing and washing, play, learning and leisure activities.
Here in Cumbria, we're lucky enough to be able to work with children and young people wherever is most appropriate, which is often at home or in the school setting.
When working with children in schools and nurseries, we'll be looking at how they can join in school activities, such as writing, using tools like scissors and rulers, and play, lunch and PE activities.
We also look at the school environment and how this can help young people to participate alongside their peers.
Children can be referred to the Cumbria Children's OT team if they are having difficulties carrying out everyday activities, and this is impacting on their ability to participate in what they want and need to do. Anyone can refer to our team using our NHS referral form, which can be found on our website. In order for us to be able to carry out activities, we need to have certain underlying skills. These skills start to develop even before we are born. Williams and Schellenberger demonstrate how our sensory systems provide the building blocks in order for the development of other skills needed for academic learning, daily living activities, and the ability to regulate our behaviour. We have 8 senses: touch, taste, smell, sight, sound, and the lesser known senses of proprioception, vestibular and interoception. To learn more about these, you can find a video on the Cumbria Local Offer website.
Our sensory systems develop through sensory play. In order to access learning opportunities, children's sensory needs must be met. This will differ for each child and at different times of the day. There are a number of simple strategies that can be used within the education environment to meet their sensory needs. Everyone needs movement or vestibular sensory information. We all also need proprioception input, which is gained through stimulating the joints and muscles through activities like climbing and crawling. Vestibular and proprioception sensory input are essential to maintain a good level of alertness, and some children need more than others in order to be ready for learning.
Some ideas of including movement and proprioception into the school day are allowing children to stand while working by using standing desks, using a wobble cushion to sit on, or introduce a wobble into a chair by placing a folded piece of paper under the chair leg, or place TheraBand across the legs of a chair. Allowing movement breaks or using structured in-class movement programmes such as iMoves, Wake Up Shake Up and BBC Super Movers. Carrying out tasks in the classroom involving carrying and moving objects such as giving out snacks and books, and other activities such as wiping the tables and the whiteboard. And creating obstacle courses or sensory pathways between classrooms. Some seated activities that involve movement and the use of joints and muscles include doing chair and table press-ups, big arm stretches in different shapes and directions, hand push-pull movements and finger flexes, using Play-Doh creatively in learning activities, as well as programmes such as Funky Fingers and Dough Disco. Some children may also benefit from having a weighted cushion or lap pad on their knee or around their shoulders. A microwave wheat bag or cushion tray with dried beans in could be used for this.
Sometimes sensory input can be overwhelming and difficult for a child to cope with, resulting in behaviours that are impacting on their ability to learn and joining school activities such as having lunch in a noisy, busy dining hall. Take time to consider what sensation a child might be struggling with. Could it be what they are touching, seeing, hearing or smelling? Do they not like the feeling of messy play, which may impact on the development of their fine motor skills? In your classroom, consider how busy the displays are and could you declutter the space? Is the lighting too bright or is it flickering? Is the projector or smartboard making a noise, or can they hear sounds from outside the classroom that's distracting them? Are there any smells that the child is struggling to cope with? In these situations, allow the child to move away from what they are finding overwhelming by using quiet corners or time-out spaces. It may be helpful to work with the child to develop a way of communicating when they need time out, and this may be a non-verbal sign. Or the child may benefit from sitting in a different position in the classroom, such as away from the projector or window.
You might like to consider creating a workstation to help reduce distractions. Some children also benefit from having routine and structure, and visual timetables can help with this. Sensory motor development is essential for the learning of physical motor skills needed for practical tasks. This includes core stability and postural security, or the ability to sit upright, and the use of both sides of our body and the awareness of where we are in space. Good core stability is essential in order for us to be able to stabilise our body and control our limbs so we can do what we want and need to do. Core stability develops through using our muscles in big movements, such as crawling and climbing, and through using different positions for play. Rather than always sitting, children can be encouraged to carry out activities on hands and knees. High kneeling, lying on their tummy, or using an easel or wall to write or draw on.
Adapting PE activities or using programs such as Smart Moves or Beam, little and often through the week, can really help with the development of core strength and other gross motor skills. When children are sitting, it is important that they have a good seated posture, which is hips, knees and ankles at 90 degrees with their feet on a flat, stable surface, bottom at the back of the chair and the table at the correct height. When a child has a stable and a secure posture, they will have better control of their arms and hands and will be more successful in engaging in learning activities. The use of both sides of the body and the ability to cross midline are important for children to carry out everyday activities, such as using scissors, getting changed for PE and writing. The Moving to Write programme is a Cumbria initiative that supports early years settings to help children develop pre-writing skills using a sensory motor-based approach, including activities to practice crossing midline and drawing diagonals. For more information about this, speak with your early years advisor.
To support the development of writing, have a range of writing tools available, including chunky pens and pencils, and experiment with different pencil grips and different types of paper. For children who bend over the table to write, who use heavy pencil pressure or have a hooked wrist position when writing, using an angled surface such as an angled board or folder can help. There are a lot of fine motor activities that support the development of hand strength and finger dexterity needed for pencil control, and having a box of these activities in the classroom for the child to access easily would be helpful. There are also a number of fine motor and writing development programmes that can be used, including Funky Fingers, Do Disco, Right from the Start and Speed Up.
It is very important that children have the opportunity to develop writing skills as much as possible at the beginning of their education, but for some children writing will always be difficult for them, and so they will need other options to help them record their work and demonstrate their learning. This is a conversation that should be held with parents as the child moves through school so that these alternative approaches can be embedded before they transition to secondary school. An occupational therapy assessment is not normally needed to support this, as using alternative methods of recording such as having a scribe or dictaphone or using an iPad or word processor to record work, for example typing or voice notes, is now recognised as an acceptable adjustment to support a child's learning.
The strategies that we use, which are very varied as you've seen as you've gone round today, really do have such a positive impact on the pupils that are using the strategies, but a positive impact on the other pupils and a positive impact on staff as well. By allowing the children to select the resources from time and actually making sure that we have the range of resources for the children to use, it really does allow them to participate. For example, the standing desks have really seen a rise in participation and a rise in the amount and quality of work that the children produce by using those. So I think that having access to those resources, and as the children get older, allowing them to make those choices for themselves, it's really having a good impact on not only their learning but on their personal self as well. But it's about staff knowing that those resources are ready and there are things available for them to turn to and to use if they feel children need to use them best. But it's also about having the confidence to have the questions. We don't always all have the answers, and it's about being able to turn to specialists like the Senko, like external sources like yourself, and just asking those questions about why they're the best things to use and how to go about using them. It allows those children to excel, and when we talk to the children about why we're giving them the opportunity to use it and why we think it's best, 9 times out of 10 they will use it, and it has a positive impact on their learning but also on their mental health and well-being, because they are participating in the same learning with the children in the same classroom rather than being withdrawn to a space to work somewhere differently on it. Unfortunately, there is a cost, but we need to account that from a child's special needs package and also from our notional funding that we have to spend on SEN. And once you have it, and once you have them in place, they very rarely need replacing. So a standing desk will see several children through their education and through their lifetime in school. So it's about, there is the financial outlay to start off with, but if you've got those in place and you can see then that it's having a positive impact on learning, on progression, on well-being, for staff well-being and pupil well-being, because they're staying in the classroom and accessing the learning, it's an investment that, whilst you have to find the resource for, it is worthwhile making. Without doubt, the most effective strategy is the most cost effective. In fact, it's cost neutral, and it is just about giving children the opportunity for a break, giving them those brain breaks, giving them the time out, regardless of the school, regardless of the size. We've all got some sort of school grounds. We are very fortunate with the size of our school grounds that our children can come out, take part in daily mile, they can come out and take part in outdoor brain break time. There's smart moves opportunities within the hall as well. So whatever the weather, it's about providing them that time with a TA to come out of the classroom and have that brain break, which allows them then to go back into the classroom ready to learn, and that is a cost neutral resource.
Over these past few years, we have done an awful lot of work with incorporating strategies, using a variety of activities, and therefore I like to feel as though our staff are more skilled. Our support staff have started looking and noticing things more, of how easily accessible these resources are and the different activities that they can do that is very minimal cost. And I feel as though we have just really enhanced what we had in the past, but also we have other strategies that we can trial if it doesn't work with the children, because all children are unique. Some work with some children, some don't. It doesn't mean that the activity or the resource, there's anything wrong with it. It's just that it's not appropriate for that child at that time. So in terms of how these have worked and developed over time, I think number one is trial it, evaluate it, and then see if you need to maintain it or it needs to be adapted slightly. The strategies have been really easy to introduce and to implement. The resources do not have to be expensive. You can buy them from anywhere. The majority of resources that we have introduced and implemented and we use on a regular basis are very cheap. Also, use your outdoor environment. Yes, there is an initial cost, but you will see the benefits of implementing that into your school day at regular opportunities. Don't just think, oh, I've done that once. That needs to be repeated regularly throughout the day. As a school, we have incorporated and developed these everyday strategies, and this is for all of our pupils who attend, and the purpose of doing that is so that every child achieves their full potential. So in terms of accessing more support, my recommendation would be to trial, to implement, and to assess the effectiveness of the strategies that you will have seen on these videos. So following the implementation and the evaluation of the strategies you have tried, you need to incorporate that into the form, because then whichever service you are requesting support from will then be able to see what has been done, what perhaps needs to be tried in addition, or to actually signpost you to a specific service. This is an example of a really low cost resource that we can use. This helps us to reduce language and overload. We will show the child this rather than giving them a verbal instruction. We have introduced these into school, and all staff will have their own set that are just kept on our lanyard.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We really hope you find it helpful.
We appreciate how busy you are. But we hope that these ideas will be simple and easy for you to be able to incorporate into your classroom and help a lot of children.
With all of these suggestions, we advise that you just give it a go, see how you get on and make adjustments as necessary.
Some strategies might not work straight away, but with practice and perseverance, you should see the benefits.
Don't forget to have a look at the sensory processing video on the local offer website for more information, and there is a list of helpful resources and websites at the end of this video.
And of course, the most important advice of all is to have fun.